you is a center for wellness and transformation. It's a space where people can come in and address the deeper things that are going on within. We work to align a person's beliefs with their desires so that they can easily and effortlessly achieve their goals. Our center is located in Shangwan, just off Central. It spans around 1,200 square foot. We have 2 therapy rooms and a larger multifunctional classroom, so it's perfect for a workshop or yoga meditations.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Diptii Shah and welcome to my show, Artistry. Today I have with me the founder and managing director of All About You Wellness Center, Ms. Sonia Samtani. Hello, Sonia, and welcome to my show.
Thank you so much, Diptii. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. My pleasure. Sonia, when mental health and wellness was actually not trending some 20 years ago, how did you begin on this journey?
Yes, so I was in this journey before mental health and wellness became cool as it is right now. And I got into it as a result of my own personal journey. So there was a point in my life where I didn't feel good about who I was. I was not confident. I was overweight. And I thought the answer was to change the outer appearance. So I lost a lot of weight. I began to speak differently and do things to change my behavior. That actually did make me feel more confident, but it was not long lasting. And I was still very dependent on the endorsement of other people to feel good about myself. So when I got a positive response, I felt good. When I didn't get a positive response, I thought there's something wrong with me, which meant the fundamental belief there is something wrong with me did not change. And then I decided I really want to do something about this. So I went on an inner journey. And I started learning about mental health and wellness from the age of 18 because I wanted to understand why I felt this way and why changing the outer appearance was not enough. So it started off as personal interest, and then I began to study it. Then I took it on as a profession because I saw the shifts and changes that I felt in myself. When I changed my beliefs, I didn't even need that endorsement. I didn't need other people's affirmation. I began to actually shift the way I felt about myself, and it was much more permanent. So that's how I got into it.
So now, Sonia, you started with your own center, your own business about this, and you call it All About You. It is such a beautiful name. It seems that everyone needs it, and you are so welcoming and saying it's all about you. What's the purpose behind this name?
Thanks for asking that. Yeah, the name can be very deep or shallow, depending on how you look at it. So yes, it is all about you. We do make it all about you. The deeper meaning is to understand that your reality has been created by your beliefs. So if you want to change anything in your life, whether it's relationships or it's your work or it's your level of confidence, we need to look inwards. So it's your beliefs, your actions, your mindset has created your reality. Your reality is all about you. That's actually what the name means.
Sonia, can we delve deeper into what is clinical hypnotherapy and who can take these sessions?
Sure, yes. Hypnotherapy is actually the art of getting your conscious and subconscious mind to say the same message. And sometimes they do, and that's when we feel at peace, and sometimes they don't. So just to go a little deeper into it, we have 2 parts to our mind. We have our conscious mind, which is about 10 to 12%. And the conscious mind is what we use to think, analyze, rationalize. And whenever you are doing what you want, your conscious mind is in charge. Like if you want to nod your head, you want to say something, the conscious mind signals to the brain sends the energy to the body, and we do what we want. Whenever the body is doing something you don't want, know that the conscious mind is not in charge. Like you don't want to have a panic attack, but you do. You don't want to be nervous speaking in public, but you do. You don't want to be angry, but you have an outburst. So there's something else that is controlling. And the subconscious mind is like a giant database. It's about 88 to 90% of the mind and 6,000 times more powerful. So whenever we are doing what we want in our life, the mind is aligned. So the conscious mind says that I want to study this subject. The subconscious mind says, yeah, okay, I'm capable. No problem, life will be easy. Or you want to earn a certain amount of money. The conscious mind says, okay, this is how much I want. The subconscious mind says, yes, I'm capable, no problem. Whenever there is a conflict, the subconscious mind wins. So the conscious mind says, I want to be a confident public speaker. The subconscious says, no, I'm not safe. The conscious mind says, I want to feel safe in COVID. The subconscious mind says, no, you're not safe. And whenever there's a conflict, the subconscious wins. So what hypnotherapy does is it goes down to the subconscious mind, looks at the beliefs that are cultivated and embedded in the database of the subconscious mind, alters that so that there's a congruency between the conscious and subconscious, and they're saying the same message, and then life begins to work.
I mean, this is so very well put together. I mean, for a person who is not into mental wellness and doesn't understand these terms, we all, like I personally hear about, the subconscious mind and how you should change your beliefs, but I really don't understand, how it all comes together. But now you're putting it all in such concise words that there is a conflict and we need to just resolve this conflict. If you would go further and tell us how this process is actually done at your center.
Yeah, sure. So it's actually a very beautiful, safe concept. There are misconceptions associated with this term hypnotherapy. Is it mind control? Is it something that someone needs to feel cautious about? And the truth is, we are in a hypnotic state twice a day naturally. So just before going to sleep and just before waking up, you're naturally in a hypnotic brainwave. And that is the delta brainwave is when you sleep. The theta brainwave is hypnotic. And usually we are in beta brainwave when we are conscious, when we are talking rationally like we're talking now.
Right.
So what we do is we put you into a relaxed state of mind through talk. And sometimes in order to help that, we'll ask you to stare at something for a long period of time to tire the mind. And so the brainwave changes. Then we take you deeper and deeper. It's like a meditation. And after you get into that meditative state, we can access the subconscious mind and we can do things there. So the simplest thing to do is place a suggestion. That's like an affirmation. So if what you're feeling is I'm scared to speak in public, you can place an affirmation that you are a confident public speaker. The deeper work we do is to understand why that fear of public speaking is there in the first place, or whatever it is you're working on. Let's say you believe you can't find a relationship. Relationships are supposed to be challenging. Why is that belief there in the first place? Maybe it's something that you have concluded when you are a child watching your parents fight. So we can actually go back in time as a regression and understand where this belief was cultivated, what happened, and then begin to reverse it from that point.
All About You provides a suite of holistic services for mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual transformation. We divide our services into 3 different categories: readings, healing, and speaking. So with the readings, we do a lot of different diagnoses, from tarot card to psychic mediumship, numerology, palm reading. In the healing, we focus a lot on hypnotherapy, and we also do energy work, we do Reiki, we do Sekam, shamanic healing. And then with the speaking, we teach public speaking, we teach communication skills, and we do couples counseling.
So, Sonia, I understand that all of this has to be supervised and none of this has to be tried by myself as such.
Supervised, meaning like there's a therapist and there's a client. Yeah. So there's a therapist, there is a client, and we create a very safe environment. We first set an objective. What is it you want? Yeah. So the client says, okay, my objective is that I would like to go from confusion to clarity. I would like to go from feeling nervous to feeling confident. I'd like to go from feeling anxious to feeling relaxed. So you have this is where I am now. This is where I want to be. And then we work to get you there by accessing the subconscious mind and looking at what are the beliefs that are keeping you anxious or nervous or confused.
Right, right. So you do have an end result in sight after the therapy. Right.
Yeah, definitely. And we map it. So that's how even the client and the therapist knows how successful it's been, because before we even start, we make sure we have an objective.
Right. Right. As with all things in life, it's better to have a goal,
Exactly.
so you know your destination and you work accordingly. So, Sonia, you also teach other people to become hypnotherapists. Tell us about your course a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the things that we do. And it gives me a lot of pleasure and joy because I take people through a curriculum which trains them to become a hypnotherapist. And we're the only place in Hong Kong that can do that in English. So I have a 5-level curriculum. And in that curriculum, the first level will educate you about the mind, will talk to you about conscious, subconscious mind, and guide you to what a hypnotic state is. And you will learn how to access the subconscious mind and place suggestions, like what we spoke about earlier. And then in level 2 and 3, we learn how to regress back and address issues that were created earlier on in this life, like fears, phobias, different beliefs that you had that are not serving you, relationship issues that are impacting you. We do cord cutting, we do passive aggressive behavior. That's levels 2 and 3. Level 4 becomes a little more spiritual. So my curriculum goes into past lives. It goes into understanding the meaning of life, understanding who you are, why you are here. And level 5 goes even further into spirituality. We tackle chakras, we regenerate organs, we do allergy management, and we can then address many things that are metaphysical, means beyond the physical realm, into quantum physics. So once you finish the 5 levels, and if you want to become a therapist, after that, you would do an internship, which means that you see 10 clients and you practice what you have learned. And you get 1 year to do that after you graduate from level 5. Within that year, you practice all the techniques that we've taught you. You submit your cases, these 10 cases. And once you pass that and you get an interview, then you can get a license to practice.
Awesome. That sounds like a very holistic curriculum. It
Yes,
covers
it is.
everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. We've had so many people graduate in Hong Kong.
Right, right. Sonia, now with COVID, especially with COVID, people are very open, much more open to talk about their mental health issues. Like depression is nothing negative anymore. It's seen as a very common thing that could happen to me and you and to someone else. But 20 years ago, when you started, what were your challenges when you began?
Yeah, so the challenges are similar to what you said. People didn't know this. You're not supposed to talk about it. So the first thing that I needed to do was to educate and to normalize it. And even when I was talking about my stuff, people then said, first, you're not supposed to talk about it. And second, you're a therapist. How can you be angry? You're a therapist. How can you be sad? And so the challenge is that we needed to show that we're perfect, which actually makes us non-human. And it's the opposite of what we're teaching. And what we're teaching is we are going to experience a spectrum of emotions, embrace it, feel it, accept it as a part of life. You don't have to be hijacked, and it's not going to go into depression if you are a therapist and you're working on it. So yeah, the challenges were around educating. There were challenges around patience also, because it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is something that takes time. It's something that takes patience, dedication. Even when I am getting people to become therapists, they think, oh, okay, I'll get 3 clients a day, 4 clients a day. This is how much I'll make. This is what will happen. It takes time to build a practice. And that is something that I mentor and educate my students until today.
We really believe in building relationships and connections. We fall in love with our clients, and we're here to connect with them at the deepest level. We're here to have them feel that they can connect to themselves at a deep level. We understand that it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable and honest about what's going on. Most people know what they're feeling. They know that they're scared. They know they've got a phobia of public speaking, or they've got panic attacks, anxiety, they've got crisis in their relationships. They know what they have, but they don't know why. So we're here to provide that safe, confidential, professional space where there is healing possible. And that healing is at many levels. It's at the energy level, it's at the conscious level, it's at the subconscious level. So they can truly live a transformed life.
Coming to the students, I mean, are there any special qualities when it comes to become a therapist? I mean, do you have to have empathy already, or do you need to be some kind of a psychic or a healer? I mean, I always had these questions, so I'm asking you.
Yeah, so psychic, not necessary at all. Empathy is something that is natural. And basically, you would need to be interested in the human mind, love working with people, yes, and also understand the difference and boundaries. It's very important for you to understand boundaries. So, not to the extent that if your client is telling you a story that they're abused, you start crying with them. That doesn't work at all. Yeah. So, understanding the boundary between you and them. And so we become a mirror where the client feels safe to tell us the deepest things that they don't even want to tell themselves. That's when therapy works and does its magic, so that the client feels safe enough to go into their deepest shame. Talk to us about that abuse that you don't even want to look at. Talk to us about really what was going on in your family in the background. And as a therapist, I would need to be grounded. I would need to be understanding. I care about you, but I'm not going to feel your pain and cry with you. That doesn't work. I also need to understand that I'm not your rescuer, because some therapists go into it wanting to be helping the whole world and go into the rescuer syndrome. So that means that now the client is not responsible for their lives. You become responsible for them. That doesn't work either. And that's another lesson in boundaries. Ultimately, the client is responsible for themselves. We are a loving mirror that guides them to face what is the issue of their problem and guides them to face what they've been avoiding. And that avoidance has caused the issue in itself. It's challenging for them to do this. It's not easy. It takes a lot of courage for you to face those things. And so we become a very loving guide, a mirror, a support system without being responsible for you and without feeling your pain. That's
Right.
really what it takes.
Yes, yes, actually. I mean, it would be self-destructing otherwise, isn't it? I mean, if you
Yes,
keep on
absolutely.
taking the burden of the world on you, I mean, how are you going to help?
Yeah. And then you become a client. You're not a therapist anymore.
Right, right.
We also provide, in terms of services, a lot of train the practitioner courses. That means we're training people to become practitioners. We train them to be hypnotherapists. We train them to be what we call fast track technique practitioners, to learn things like metaphor therapy and applied psychology, so that they can hone in their skill and become practitioners. And we'd be one of the only places in Hong Kong that does that.
Sonia, on a lighter note, how do you manage so much of social activity and business networking with a very, very full calendar?
Yeah, so the answer to that is the calendar. Actually, I schedule it, right? I schedule all of it. And that's, I think, the best way to manage it. If I want to add something to my schedule, like for example, if I want to write a new program or a new workshop, the only way that that will happen is if I block my diary and I say, this is the time that I'm going to produce a new workshop. Then I'm going to schedule time for friends. Then I'll schedule time for a workout or kickboxing. And then I'll schedule time for socializing or social media or business networking. And I go by my schedule and by my diary. I am a very big diary person. In fact, even until 2023, my workshops are scheduled, not my private life, but my workshops are scheduled at least for the next year.
Awesome. You are a boss lady, I would say.
Thank you.
Sonia, when people cannot reach you or any other therapist as such, what can we do as an everyday ritual, say a morning ritual or a night ritual on our own to improve our mental health?
That's a great question. And self-work is something that we need to do anyway. You know, I often say that going to a therapist is pest control, doing your own work is house cleaning, and both are necessary. So your house cleaning would be just before going to bed. Understand that your last thoughts is going to be what the subconscious mind stores in first. So become very aware of the note that you sleep in. And a great thing to do with before going to bed is do a daily review. This is something I do every day. Review everything that happened in the day. And if there's still things that you are not at peace with, you're upset about, then in your mind, just breathe out all of those emotions and feel as if you are now beginning to make peace with what happened during the day. If you need help with doing that, of course, you can seek therapy. If you can do that on your own with breath work, that's great for you. After you have released these emotional charges, then pick an affirmation for yourself. An affirmation is a positive statement. It can be something general like, I am at peace, I am loved, I'm supported, I'm complete, I am accepted. It can be something specific like money is coming to me easily every day, and in every way, I'm getting more and more confident. And say that to yourself 21 times just before going to bed every night. Two very simple things. And then when you wake up in the morning, it also sets the tone of the day. Remember that affirmation and visualize what you would like for that day in the morning.
Where can people follow you, and where do clients connect with you?
So people can follow me on Instagram. I've got 2 accounts. My work account is All About You Center. My personal account is Sonia Samtani _. And we are on Facebook as well. Both names are the same, All About You Center and Sonia Samtani. I'm on YouTube as well. So if you just type in Sonia Samtani, you'll get a lot of my videos on YouTube. And where people find me, a lot of them now is on social media. Otherwise, through Google, people are directed to my website, which is allaboutyoucenter.com. And center is CENTRE.
Right, Sonia. I'll be linking all of that in the video and in the description box. Thank you so much for taking time out today, right in the morning, and doing this show for me. Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Diptii. Thanks so much for having me.